HDZero 2. If you have been out of the loop of this week, some huge news dropped from HDZero. That is with their new goggles. So I'm going to jump over here. This is the goggle. It comes in two different colors. We're going to be going through it. Does it show me what white looks like or not? Not yet. All right. This is it here. And HDZero Goggle 2. So I saw Ryan did a little full breakdown of this video. There's also some other really good videos out there, like by MadTex, Nick Burns. They did some fantastic breakdowns. But we're going to be looking at this, and HDZero has been absolutely crushing it, I think, with their development recently. Like they did the Box Pro goggles, which were like their cheaper version to get people into the market. They've got this version here too, which is $649. We'll be talking about the pricing and things like that because it is different based on different places in the world. Things with like tariffs, I think it's $750 maybe in the States. And I had a look at Australia stores. It's about $800 over here, or $880 or something like that. So I'm not too sure. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be going through all the text and the specs as well. But let me know if you are interested in getting this goggle. Who's going to make the switch? Who's going to be getting this? Who's interested? Who wishes they had a pair of these? Because it does sound pretty nice. Now, I must say, I do like the red pair. I think this is a pretty smart little marketing decision because there's, it's not vanity, but everybody likes to be like, yeah, I've got some really top end gear. We have the old pair, which I believe Ryan was flying around with the HDZero 2s, sort of like incognito, where people couldn't really tell. I've got his video up here, actually. I think he's got them at the start. This is the white. I'll turn the sound off just in case. I don't think Ryan, I just don't want to run any risks of getting some copyright strikes or anything. But yeah, he's got his pair here. He was saying he was flying them around incognito, testing them out without people realizing that he actually has the new set of goggles. HDZero Goggles 2 build on the success of the original with practical upgrades that pilots will appreciate. A sharper, dust-resistant optic module. Now, I think that's probably the first thing too. From what I have heard, the optics in this are meant to be significantly improved, like the best looking optics inside the actual goggle. And I want to make it clear too, I should probably put this at the start of the video or something like that. If you know anything about the bit of a history between HDZero and myself, there is a small bit of drama where I accidentally went through the manual about a box, their latest goggle, not this one, the Box Pro. They weren't very happy with that. Carl's done some posts since that he never wants to work with me again and doing some other things. But from my end, I would just like to say, no matter what HDZero might think, my hope for them is that they have an amazing launch with their goggle. I wish this company all the success. I hope that they have a real community and it continues to grow and develop because we need competition. We need more people in the market. Like it is never a bad thing for the hobby and for us pilots. And that's truly who I care about. That's where my allegiance is. Us pilots having options, having choices. I don't want one company to rule anything. I don't want DJI to have a monopoly. I don't want HDZero to have a monopoly. I don't want Cadex to have a monopoly. I want us to have as many choices and as many options as possible. And this is a fantastic option for the people that this goggle suits. I think they're doing an amazing job for their community. So despite what others may say online, I have no hard feelings about HDZero and I wish them all the success in the future. That's like professionally and also personally. Let's have a look. So we've got some dust-resistant optic modules. I don't know if dust getting into the old modules was a bit of an issue. A built-in analog receiver. I think that's cool. Like if you're the sort of pilot that has some analog drones as well. I think nowadays analog and digital, you don't really need to have I would almost prefer not two sets of goggles, but I don't care if I can get analog or not. I've already got a set of analog goggles though, but if I was coming into the hobby buying something brand new, it is nice that this is included. And I always felt like it was a bit of a jip for the $150 or what. Like I don't know how much an actual module is plus the module bay, all that sort of stuff. I like that it can do inbuilt analog. I think that's great. And this is the only goggle where that sort of makes sense. If I have a DJI like this, sorry, I've got some USB cords hanging off. Let me know what you think as well. But if I have a set of DJI goggles, I'm not going to be buying analog receivers. So I probably don't care that this doesn't have an inbuilt analog module. HDZero is the only time where I think that makes sense, and that is because of the whoop racing market. If you are racing, which is where HDZero absolutely excels at, if you're a racing pilot, without a doubt, this is the best goggle that you can get. The beauty here where it does make sense is because people who are racing will probably also have some little analog whoops to race and fly around. So they might want to use the best goggles that they've got and have the best experience with their little analog drones as well. And then when they go out to the field, that we've also got your HDZero whoops, and you've also got your, your proper 5-inch racers out in the field. This really, really makes sense, I think, for a lot of pilots because it keeps the cost down as well. So you don't have to buy just HDZero receivers. Sorry, VTXs. Johnny D is saying, I'd love to win them. Then I can use my walk snail modules on it. They call them Leaky Stew over at HDZero. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And apparently, too, these get some pretty decent reception when it comes to the actual analog module built in. The integrated Wi-Fi, built-in HDZero. Okay. Analog receiver, an expansion module. So it looks like you don't have to buy a Wi-Fi module. They both still got the same backpack stuff. A better optic. Okay, so they got better optics and an analog. Analog is built in as well as the Wi-Fi. Seems like a lot of features that were missing from their Goggle 1 aren't going to be have been included in their Goggle 2. One of the best things about HDZero, I think, is the underside of them. You've got so many interface options as well as the backpack. And I think probably the part that I'm most excited about, here's a good picture, is with this goggle, they really have an option now where someone says, what is the best goggle for me? I like to race. There was an argument for like Sky Zones or some 04X Pros where they were still a really, really good goggle. And if you liked analog, you could be just as competitive. These now, I think, and look, I don't know if I'll ever get to test these. Maybe I'll be able to fly around and borrow someone's or something like that. But I think these, from what I can tell, and this is just some random Aussie guy in Australia, look incredible. If I was going to the races, I would want this goggle. If I was, and here's the big takeaway, if I was going to fly analog and money wasn't an issue, I would want this goggle. So this would be probably my number one pick for analog, and HDZero has always been a pick for racing. Like, I'm sure no one is going to disagree with that. Now, the part that we can, how do we close this? This is the part that's probably interesting. This is the part where if it's $649 and we're going to get into DJI and all that sort of stuff missing in the market. Someone's saying that's a full-size HDMI. That's nice. Okay, I didn't actually pick that up. $649. It's a ton of money. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. However, if you look at the price of DJI, they've been $500. How much is a set of like, even if any, where am I going? Let's go right here to have a look at some digital systems. So like $540, $340 for the box. We've got some original HDZeros here. The N3s, $230. Like these prices, I think HDZero, yes, it's the most expensive, but I do believe there's some value there for those people who want it. I'm an absolutely value-focused channel. That's why I really like the DJI goggles N3. I think they're great. I've always liked my original Omways. And this, for what you get if you are into racing, I would say it's justifiable. Now, the part that I think is going to play a little bit of havoc, though, if you can land this in your lap for $650, I would call that a win. I am really hoping that this isn't like an NVIDIA launch with graphics cards and those sorts of things where prices can, they say this is going to be the price and things change. Now, Ryan did have a little caveat here where he said it's going to be about 600. And I should link this video down below as well. It's really, really good. Yeah, they said it was going to be $750, $749 or something like that in the US because of tariffs. That's understandable. That's not really something in their control. I'm sure they would love to not have to charge that price onto customers. If we look down here, where is this? Like going over to Mantis, which is where you can buy the HDZero stuff from. This is the part where I was a little bit confused, and I don't know if this is going to be a worldwide thing or if this is just this specific shop. Now, I've chosen Mantis because they're an Australian store. Shout out to them. If we look in here, we've got 1,300 Aussie dollars. So that's about, is it? Let's have a look. I think it's about 800 and something. And I tried to do this. Here we go. 880 US dollars. So this isn't including the tariffs because this is in Australia. If I wanted to buy this set of goggles here in Australia, I'm paying 880 US dollars. That's significantly different to the 649 that is written here. And if that's the case, that's where I feel like that is so much money, then I might just go back to analog. If I'm buying this for racing, which is why I'd be buying this. So the pricing there, I really hope that maybe that's been a pricing error over on Mantis or some other stores. I don't know what. Of course, everywhere's going to pay tax. I would just like, if you can get this for this price, great. If it's going to be the $880, like it's going to be at Mantis, if I want to buy it right here in Australia, I know, because we don't have tariffs. We have a goods and services tax, which is like 10%. But yeah, I'm not too sure, unless this is like the absolute bare bones price, no tax, nothing like that. So yeah, some people, Johnny DRC is saying $880, no way. Wait, is it 650 AUD or USD? No, this is 650. This is American on the cheapest way. Maybe, I don't understand what's going on there with the price difference. I just want to put that in there. Maybe you've got some ideas. Someone please explain that to me. But I think a lot of people are going to like these. I think if you want to get that like lowest latency, if you're into racing, you're going to like it. The part where this really opens up, and this is probably where we should be talking about DJI as well. Someone's saying almost feels like we're going backwards. Hunt Boom is saying 880 will pay half my rent with that. 759 after tax in the US. Yeah, okay. And someone's saying love taxes being on analog. Other people talking about the price as well. So I guess the market too, they can... if there's a huge demand for it, if you look at NVIDIA graphics cards, this is like such a good analogy or a comparison, I should say. When NVIDIA released and say, hey, this is going to be the price of like a 5080 or a 5090, they were like the marketing prices, and some did get sold at that, but a lot more. If you went and Googled it today and looked at the other stores around that are selling graphics cards of 5090s, they are so much higher than their, what is it, MSRP or market manufacturer recommended sale price. Someone's saying that's a mortgage payment. Absolutely. I'm in the US. I'm not going to be able to get it over the border. So yeah, I think it's $750 in the US. At least HDZero being in the US, they'll probably be able to have some more clarification. Maybe Mantis just has a pricing error here though on pre-order. I'm not sure. I definitely couldn't afford to buy a $1,400 pair of goggles. I would be getting red though. Absolutely. Just for fun. All right. That brings us on to the next part, where it's an awful lot of money to pay for anything really. But if you just are a normal person who enjoys like a non-racer, that's where it's getting very, very expensive. Okay, let's talk about some DJI right now.